Yo, what's up, guys? Dragon Ball Dave here with another Dragon Ball Daima video. I'm just going to share my thoughts on episode 10 of Dragon Ball Daima, like I always do. This is episode 10 entitled Ocean, which released on December 13th, 2024. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this was definitely the best episode so far. There's a lot of lore, there's a lot of action. Now, the fight scene isn't as good as what Goku and Tamagami 3 displayed, but this is definitely one of the best episodes, if not the best episode. Lots of lore drops, lots of stuff. We're going to get into that as we come to it. I very much enjoyed this episode, though, man. I'm getting a kick out of Daima. I was definitely wrong about meeting Tamagami 2 here, but like I said, more on that as we actually come to it. The episode opens up with Majin Ku squaring off against Tamagami 1 in the first Demon World. And they actually get right to it. They have a little bit of a scuffle. And, you know, it just basically looks like Majin Ku's kind of on the offensive, trying to attack. And he's doing some cool little attacks and stuff, but nothing seems to be hurting Tamagami 1. You know, a lot of us have been wondering if the Tamagamis are all the same strength, or if they get stronger as we get to them. More than likely, they're going to get stronger as we get to them. I did notice, like, the way this is, the Tamagami is in a lot more defensive, like, positions. Like when he exploited an opening on Majin Ku, he didn't just attack him, whereas Tamagami 3 was an aggressor. He went right in on Goku as soon as Goku said that he wanted the Dragon Ball. And so I did notice that's a little bit different way of their fighting style, which that's cool. I do hope they're different, you know. But yeah, like I said, the episode opens up just with Majin Ku kind of dancing around with Tamagami 1. And like I said, it's not near as good as Tamagami 3 versus Goku. You know, the power pole cutting the hammer in half, that's going to be really hard to top. They're not going to be able to top it, in my opinion, because that was awesome. But after, like I said, we just kind of see them sparring around for a minute here. There's not a whole lot that happens, but then we pan over to Goku and company, and they're approaching Warp Sama. And now I haven't seen anybody mention this, but there seemed to be like an error in the episode there. They pull up to Warp, and as they're pulling up to him, it instantly cuts to where they're inside of Warp already. It skips the whole mouth opening scene and then like the little door that opens up inside of him. And then it shows Shin fix Goku's ears in front of Little Warp, and then Glorio gives the pin number to Little Warp. The pin number was 1022 to go to the second Demon World, is where they're trying to go. Now, this was something that was really weird to me, because why did Big Warp not question it like last time? And why are they giving the pin to Little Warp? That didn't happen last time. They gave the pin to Big Warp. This was definitely an animation error of some kind. Like, they didn't put something together right. And like I said, nobody's really talking about it, because it's not a big deal. But I did notice it. I'm like, well, what changed there? Like, what's going on? But Warp actually, or Little Warp, he actually tells him, he's like, hey, this is a military police plane. You don't look like military police. And they're like, oh, yeah, you know, we're family members, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, well, whatever, cool. And then they mention, or I'm sorry, yeah, Pansy mentions, like, okay, they must not have reported the ship stolen. Or maybe it was Shin that said it, but whatever. Then right before they go, Shin's like, wait a minute, because this is a military police plane, we have full access to go wherever with these demon realms. So why don't we just go straight to Demon World 1 and get Dende? And Goku then chimes in. He's like, well, we can't do that because we got to get the Dragon Balls. We won't be able to collect them. Now, I don't think it really matters which world they went to first. If they were really concerned for Dende, they would go get him first, then, you know, defeat Tamagami 1, then go fight Tamagami 2. I don't think it matters what order you collect them in. But Goku's just kind of telling him, like, hey, no, we need to collect the Dragon Balls first. And Glorio agrees with this. And we know why Glorio's agreeing with it, because, you know, he's working with Arinsu. And because, you know, Majin Ku and Tamagami 1 are fighting right now, I presume that Glorio wants to keep Goku and company out of Arinsu's hair and away from them for now. But they do decide that Dende's going to be okay, because Shin mentions again that if they really wanted to kill him, they wouldn't have kidnapped him, went through all the trouble of kidnapping. And then he mentions that Namekians have, you know, a lot of good abilities, so that's going to factor in. And they're actually going to expand upon that a little bit more, but I'll get to it when we come to it. But then we pan over to Bulma and company with Piccolo, Vegeta, and Hybus, and it's pretty much the little scene from the episode preview from last week that, you know, Bulma's just kind of touching her face, and she's she's geeked about how smooth her skin is. Now, Hybis mentions they're lucky to get their plane back, and then Piccolo drops some lore on us that we didn't know about. He says even if we rescue Dende, if he's a baby, the Dragon Balls will be useless for a while. And that's a very interesting little line because it's like, oh, really? So even if you get Dende, the Dragon Balls are useless? So you were going to have to get the Demon World Balls no matter what. Or wait for Dende to grow up, lock him in the Room of Spirit and Time for a couple of years, and when he's grown up, then he can use the Dragon Balls again. And that was something we didn't really know before. I was under the impression that it was a special ability to make Dragon Balls, and you may have had to have learned something. But I didn't think that Dende would lose, like the Dragon Ball shouldn't lose any abilities, because Dende, even though he's a kid, they're still the same people. He's still Dende in there. Or at least he's supposed to be, based on what Krillin said in the first episode. And Goku, Bulma, Vegeta, and Kibito, and Shin, and how they're all literally acting. So I think that's a little weird, but hey, that's cool. That's new lore, so I'm for it. We then have Hybis point out that Bulma's skin is so smooth, and Bulma's geeked about it. She's like, I know, I'm glad you noticed. And she's kind of just thinking like, maybe I won't even become an adult again. Like, I'm digging the way my skin is now. Like, this will be cool. And then Hybis, just no expression, no emotion, says, yeah, you could be my girlfriend. And this got me. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Aren't you like old? And she's like a kid. That's kind of weird, but whatever. Then Vegeta instantly chimes in. He's like, we're married. She can't marry you. And man, it's crazy the way it does. It's actually kind of funny, because Hybis just kind of ignores Vegeta and tells Bulma's like, oh, you married some guy with a bad haircut. And I was like, what? And Vegeta's all like, you're one to talk. And then Vegeta makes the comment, we need to turn, I can't be stuck as a brat forever. And Bulma says that, well, go ahead and you wish to become an adult again alone. And he's like, no, we're both going to be, we're married. We're both going to be adults. That's weird too. And she just like, she kind of laughs or whatever. But then Hybis is like, oh, I get it. You like big boobs. And that's why Vegeta wants Bulma to be an adult again. And I thought that was kind of funny. I'm glad they 180'd that around somehow, because that was a little bit weird to me, Hybis saying that. But it was still funny. The Vegeta disrespect is out of this world. And I really, like I said, I think Hybis is a bigger deal than what we think. And they might be getting me good with that, but I do think he's a bigger deal than what we think. And I can't wait for him to put Vegeta in the dirt. It's coming. But that was pretty much that little gag scene there. And like I said, I did find it funny. A little bit weird, but funny. We then pan back to the Tamagami and Majin Buu having their battle. And like I said, Majin Buu is kind of on the offensive. And when I said Tamagami 1 is on the defensive, what I mean by that is that he's not going out of his way to attack Majin Buu. He's literally just avoiding him, and then if he gets close enough, he tosses him. But other than that, he has not tried to actually do any attacks. And Majin Buu, he looked strong at the beginning, kind of. Now he's starting to remind me kind of like Gotenks, or like a goofy character. Like Monaka, maybe even, I don't know. But he punches the Tamagami and it absolutely does nothing. He launches a big mouth blast at him. And the Tamagami, like the way the scene is, it makes it look like it's engulfing him. And it even has a Rinsu get super happy, like, oh, but we know that's not the case. But then it pans back over to Goku and company, and they've arrived in the second demon world. And, it pretty much looks like Namek combined with like the Kaioshin realm. That's what it reminds me of. And quickly it actually shows Goma is aware of this now. Goma sees this. And this is something that it's like, whoa, if Goma knows they're there, so why hasn't this plane been reported, like, stolen or whatever? Because at least then they could stop him from using Warp. Or presumably so. Warp wasn't really courteous to Goma in the beginning. So that's kind of an interesting little thing. But it was just a quick little thing where it pans where he's aware they're in the second demon world and they have a military police plane. And then it goes right back to, that honestly may have been like a little animation blib too there. But that one's not near as bad as the Warp one from earlier. That could be okay. It just lets you know that he is aware they're there. And then Goku actually asks Shin about the second demon world. He's like, hey, you're from here, so like tell us a little bit about this. But, he is actually going to explain a little bit more to us about it in a minute. But for now, Pansy just makes a comment like, hey, we're flying really fast. And Glorio's like, yeah, the air's not heavy here. So the second demon world doesn't have that heavy air that the third demon world has. And I think that's neat. That's interesting. This is a lot different than what the other demon world seemed like. Oh well, then Shin asked Glorio about these monsters called krakens. Okay, and the kraken is like, I mean, it's been in everything. You ever watch Pirates of the Caribbean? You'll know Davy Jones releases the kraken. If you know anything about like Greek mythology, the kraken is one of the titans. I think, yeah. Well, I believe he's one of the titans. He might not be one of the titans. He might just be a monster from something else. But he's in Greek mythology too. In the OG Clash of the Titans movie, Poseidon would release the Kraken, and it was kind of cool. But anyways, Shin asks about Krakens and if they're still around, and he says they're giant monsters that were, as big as islands or whatever. And Gloria's like, oh yeah, there's tons of them. They're still around. And Pansy said she's never seen them, but she's heard of them. And she heard that even, bombs or stuff don't even work on them. And then all of a sudden, we get a Kraken literally pop up on them. Or, I'm sorry, a Kraken doesn't show up. What happens is the military police start shooting them down. They start gunning Glorio and company down. And, it's kind of like a Star Wars thing. Glorio's got to do his Han Solo, fly out. And he does maneuver and get away from him. But then when he gets up to shoot him, he kind of like, he's not doing a good job. And Glorio says that he's not used to this. Like, this isn't his battle. So maybe he's not Han Solo, But their plane gets shot and they're going down. They're going down. The military police have got him. Goku says open the door and, basically goes out. And it's like Goku versus the Red Ribbon Army when he was a kid. He just goes right to town, killing these guys. Well, not killing them, but I guess whatever he's doing. Destroying their ships. And obviously the military police are no match for Goku. It's actually a really cool scene. He's using that power pole to destroy their ships. And like I said, it really reminds you of OG Dragon Ball. I've said before, 40th anniversary series. It's definitely going to have some awesome callbacks like that. But Goku pretty much just destroys all the military police. There's a scene where he lands on the glass of one of them, and it kind of reminds you of Dragon Ball Super Broly. When the guys, Frieza's henchmen, were trying to steal the Dragon Balls, and Goku, is breathing on the glass, and they're all scared of him or whatever. I thought that was kind of cool. But then we see that Goma and Degasu are actually watching all this, and they're baffled. Degasu's like, oh, he's stronger than we imagined. So take that, Power Scalers. Base Goku smashing some planes is apparently greater than the Goku he watched beat up Majin Buu. But anyways, it was kind of it was neat to see Goku destroy those things like that. Like I said, Goma and Degasu are worried, and Goma actually says, take everybody, all the military police to the first demon world, so that way we can, keep our focus there, because he's pretty much already, I guess, chalked up the second demon world. That Tamagami's cooked, and I think that's kind of funny. He's already accepted it for what it is. But they do mention that, Goku is stronger than what they thought he would be as a kid. So that's probably what they referred to when Degasu said stronger than I imagined. They already knew about the Tamagami thing, so that's probably just more proof they can't sense ki because they're Glens, demons, whatever. But it is interesting still to see, they are aware of Goku 100% now. They are aware he's on a mission. And that instead of reinforcing everybody in the second demon world, they're going to just all meet up in the first demon world. So like I said, he's pretty much chalked up Tamagami 2 to losing. But after Goku defeats all the military police, that's when the Kraken actually pops up. And its silhouette reminded me of the Galactic King in Dragon Ball from Jocko the Galactic Patrolman and Dragon Ball Super. That's what his silhouette looked like. But Glorio flies away from his mouth, and then he actually the Kraken sends one of his tentacles out, because a Kraken is like an octopus type deal. He sends one of his tentacles out and he grabs the ship, and they all just fly out and stuff. Goku tells them to fly out. Pansy remembers that they didn't grab the Dragon Ball of all things, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, what about the Dragon Ball? Nobody's got it. And it starts crushing the ship, and I don't know, it was a weird thing to me. Goku comes up and he's like, Pansy, like he can't reach. I'm just like, teleport closer real quick, do that, like punch this Kraken in the head. Do something. Like, what's going on here, Goku? And the Kraken swallows the ship. Goku, Pansy, and the ship. And that's pretty much it. Puts it in their mouth. And then, when he burps, you see Goku and Pansy fly out. And Pansy has the Dragon Ball. So that was kind of like plot, I guess. Just super luck. I don't know. That was weird to me. I wanted Goku to punch that thing. And apparently it's full off of just the ship. It doesn't need the little people that got away. Metal's just as good as meat, apparently. But, yeah, that was it. It was kind of a weird little scene. The Kraken is supposed to be a big deal. Like I said, they all freak out like, oh no, the Dragon Ball. But Pansy, that's what she went back to get. She's smart. There's a reason they brought her along. And they're all kind of relieved and excited about that. But now that they don't have a plane, they decide that they need to go to wait for Vegeta and company to come and get them. So they just say, Shin says that there's a nearby planet, and it's actually the home world of the Namekians. And they look over and they see a planet, and that's where it is, and they're going to go there, and they're going to wait there for him. So I did think that was like, cool or interesting. They actually do it because Pansy, they're all flying at first, and Pansy actually kind of gets tired. But, Goma's freaked out when he was watching all this, and he's like, man, if only the Kraken had eaten him, we could have got him. It would have been over. But anyways, we then cut back to the Tamagami versus Ku, and like I said, for the third time now, we're watching them fight. And at this point, it's very clear that Ku is unable to do anything to the Tamagami. But the Tamagami is yet to actually do anything to him. And now he got a little bit more offensive here. But it was basically he just dodged Ku and then boom, appeared behind him and made Ku like, oh no, I can't do nothing to this guy. And he actually admits defeat. He says he gives up. There's no way he can win. And that was kind of interesting. It's like, whoa, so you're definitely not as strong as Tamagami 1. We was hoping for an absorption or some weird stuff like that, but there was nothing like that. Goku and Shin back on the planet talk about how the Namekian planet looks just like planet Namek. And Goku's like, man, Frieza destroyed it and all this. And Shin's like, yeah, they brought the trees from there, and it must have been hard work just for Frieza to destroy it. And that was kind of like, I don't know why Goku brought Frieza up again, because they got new Namek. But nonetheless, they brought their trees with them. Then Goku complains about being hungry, and of course, finally decides to use one of those revive bugs. Now, when he gets the revive bug, he says he knows it's going to refill his stamina, but he wonders if it's going to fill his belly up too, like make you full. And Pansy tells him, no, that's not how they work. And he's only got 3 of them. Nobody wants one. Goku eats one, and it definitely replenishes his stamina to full. Boom. He said it doesn't taste good, but he gets an aura around him. And then he says his belly feels a little full. And so it did fill him up a little bit in some way, though it's not much. Planet Namek is pretty much abandoned completely. There's nobody there anymore. And that's been that way since the Namekians left. Okay, then we get Goku realizes, he senses Vegeta's energy, that they're all in the proximity, and he's going to bring them to where they're at. And Pansy says, how did he know they're there? And that's when Shin, again, doubles down and says he can sense them. He doubles down on that's something that they don't do. And so I think that's kind of a little interesting point, because that Kaioshin sensing energy thing is really kind of contentious, because he says he feels Super Saiyan 3 Goku's energy, but he doesn't use the word ki, and I don't know exactly what he was talking about with that. I don't know if Goku was shaking all of reality from there, or what exactly was going on in the Buu arc. He does say energy, but he doesn't use the word ki, and it's kind of interesting because like I said, he thought Ultimate Gohan, post Z Sword training Gohan was going to beat up Fat Buu, and Goku flat out tells him, like, I don't think he can beat Buu. And so I think that's a big thing, is that Shin can't really sense ki. But then they talk about pans to Hybis and Vegeta and all them, because like I said, Goku felt him, so they're in the second demon world. Bulma says it doesn't feel like a demon world at all, and she asks Piccolo if he remembers this place, and he's like, I was born after this. And she should know that, technically, But I mean, it's not a big deal that she doesn't, I guess. She's not like a Piccolo expert, I don't think. But Goku actually pops up there and he actually warns them all, like, hey, fly higher above the water. There's these monsters in there. And Vegeta's like, we ain't scared of no little monster. Like, what does that matter? And then the Kraken pops up just right like that, and they're all kind of startled by it. And Hybus, he gets away from it. He pilots away. And Vegeta's like, whoa, it's that big? And Goku's like, see, I told you. And the subtitles actually say, we ain't strong enough for that right now. So Goku flat out admits that this Kraken is above him, Vegeta, and if it's above him, it's above the Tamagami 3 for sure. And that was just like, whoa. Now, I've seen people say that this is actually a mistranslation on Crunchyroll's part, and Crunchyroll is notorious for doing some funny stuff, guys. But they said that it's mainly like, that's why he says we ain't strong enough for that right now. He doesn't actually use the word strong, I guess, in the Japanese. I'll post it in the comments so you guys can take it to a translator or translate it yourself, do whatever. But it's actually more like he's just saying now's not the time for us to fight that. We don't need to waste time fighting that right now. It is basically kind of what it means, which that's interesting because, like I said, that reminds me very much of like the Super Buu line. Like I said, it's weird to me because why is this monster stronger than Tamagamis and Majin Buu? Like, if Goku isn't weaker than what this actually would definitely probably mean that Goku and Vegeta did get weaker as kids. So the Goku who fought the Tamagami is actually weaker than Buu Saga Goku, or into Buu Saga Goku at least. And so that's interesting to me. But they basically say, we're not messing with the Kraken, and Vegeta doesn't deny it or nothing. He's like in awe about it as well. So that's crazy to me. The Kraken's super strong because even if it is about like the now's not the time for it, it implies that it's going to take some work, and it's about both of them. So maybe it could be about the individual, but I mean, I don't know. That one's a. Tell me what you guys think. I don't know. Oh, but this man Hybus doesn't react at all. By the way, like he's not even worried about it, but he does, get them away from it. And then they go back with the other people, and they all meet up, and that's where we're at now. But anyways, when Majin Ku gives up to the Tamagami, he and Arinsu leave, and they leave right as the military police arrive, so they don't see her there. So she's still under the radar, unless Goma's been watching her specifically, which I don't think that's where his focus has been. It's hard to say. But she tells Majin Ku that he's fired and that he's a disappointment. And he's like, you shouldn't do that. I'm pretty strong. It's just that the Tamagami guy was stronger. And then he tells her that he's a good singer and he's fast, so he can be valuable if she sends him shopping. And I thought, like, that was kind of goofy. So he is a goofy character, Maybe he is strong, and maybe, he'll go get some, like, item for her or something, and that's actually going to be a bigger deal than what we think. But I thought it was just supposed to be a funny joke. Goku asks Piccolo what he thinks about the demon world here and Planet Namek, and Piccolo says, I told Bulma the same thing, like, I was born after this, and Goku definitely knows that. So I don't know why he said that stupid stuff. I guess that's going to be the cope for later. Goku can forget everything. But Piccolo does say it gives him a familiar feeling like that, just being here, and so that's kind of neat. Shin reveals that the Namekians were used as like slaves basically because they have a lot of abilities, and we actually see what's his name, Hybus is like digging or doing something over there, but at this time when we're not paying attention to Hybus, Bulma starts asking questions about the demon world, and she wonders why the Glens left and all that. And she has Shin to tell the story, and Goku's like, nah, we don't need to hear that. And like the sound effects and like the way Shin and Bulma look at him are like, bruh, shut up, Goku. What are you talking about? We want to know what's up. Tell us the lore. And so then we get a ton of stuff to talk about here. And I mean, there is a lot. Shin explains the creation of the multiverse and all types of stuff. So it explains that long ago, the good Supreme Demon King, so the good Daima, a demon king from a long time ago who was good, apparently, sought to expand the demon realm. And so he ordered a powerful super demon called Rimus, something like that, to create the universe. And so, like I said, this is brand new lore. We've never heard of anything like this. We never knew that Zeno created the universe or anything like that. It was never told to us. It's just said that he rules over it. But it's interesting now we find out who actually does, create the universe. And I've said before, keep Dragon Ball Super out of your head for this, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Because Shin then tells us that Remus is the supreme authority in the universe, above all. And then he says that they made many universes, and a lot of the Majins actually started moving to those universes. And it says at that time, Remus, Sama, whatever, chose a select few from among the Glens, so the Kaioshin, and sent them to govern over the universes as Kaioshin. Okay, and then when it shows this, it actually shows Gowasu from Dragon Ball Super from Universe 10. It shows Shin, obviously, Universe 7. Fua from Universe 6. I forgot Buddy's name from Universe 12. And then it's also Universes 5, 11, 1, and 8, I believe. Yeah, 5, 8, 11, and 1. And so it shows 8 of the 12 Supreme Kaioshin from Dragon Ball Super. Now, if you paid attention to what he just said there, none of these Supreme Kais are the ones that went to Remus originally sent. And we know that because Shin's going to actually clarify that in a second. I actually think that this is part of that 40th anniversary thing. Because, like I said, they just said that Remus is the supreme authority in the universe. So that puts him, in the same spot as Zeno. And they didn't know about him at all. And now we actually have... Vegeta's been explained the multiverse now, guys. Vegeta has been explained the multiverse. So there's no more, Goku forgot. Because Vegeta definitely paid attention and even mentions in Dragon Ball Super that he had no idea about this stuff. So this was more of that, they just used these character designs, and I think it's interesting they only used 8 of them for Kaioshin in this scene, so you know what the Supreme Kais are. It's that 40th anniversary stuff, they're going to have little callbacks to everything in here. Remus kind of looks like Zeno, and, here's Dragon Ball Super, 8 of the 12 Supreme Kais. I think it's interesting they only used 8 of them, and not all 12 of them. I wonder if these are the 8 that were actually designed by Toriyama himself, and if the other 4 that aren't on here were created by Toyotaro, maybe. Who knows? But this right here, it tells us, Vegeta knows about the multiverse. So like I said, guys, Dragon Ball Super, even though they're showing these Kais like that doesn't, connect them. Dragon Ball Kai, actually, the series, opens up with a flashback of the Bardock, the father of Goku movie. And then the last episode preview for Dragon Ball Kai, the final chapters, actually, and it segues into Dragon Ball Super Episode 1. So, in the Dragon Ball Super continuity, whether it's manga, anime, or movie, there is no Bardock, the father of Goku story like that. It's different. It's like the Dragon Ball Minus story. Bardock doesn't have his bandana. He doesn't fly up into space to fight Frieza. He shoots the blast from the planet. There's just lots of differences. He doesn't, get a magical ability to see the future. He just gets a lucky guess. They're totally different. So, just because it showed, cameos of these characters doesn't automatically connect the continuities like that. Use your noggins, guys. But anyways, Bulma then asks if, all races, for example, like people, are descended from the demon realm. And Shin says not all of them, and he specifies that Earthlings and Saiyans were born after the universe was created. He says after your universe in particular, so Universe 7. Which is interesting, because that, like I said, it was after Universe 7 was created, was when they were, was when the Saiyans were created, and the humans. So, sorry, Universe 6, you got cooked again. But he then says that many of the Glend ancestors moved to a planet near where Remus actually lives at. And that's where, I guess, they stayed, so we don't see them. And it says that warp was freely used to travel between the demon realms. Well, apparently during Abura, Demon King Dabura's father, his reign, he started fearing the threat of the outside world, all the universes out there. So, maybe it was for Saiyans, maybe it was for Earthlings even, who knows. He was afraid of something out there. Maybe it was gods of destruction, who knows. They don't mention gods of destruction at all here, and that's why I'm like, shake Dragon Ball Super. But anyways, and Abra was the one who lost the third eye that's on Hibis's belt there. But it says that he was feared the beings from the outside world, so he actually is the one who instituted the pin number thing for Warp. And Shin is actually then says that he was in the demon realm when that happened. And he says that it's at that time that he and the other Glens, most of them anyways, revolted and left. And when he left the demon realm, that's when he became a Supreme Kai. And then, he doubles down on them being born from trees and that there's 5 trees. Which, that we found that out before, and that's interesting. That was a retcon on the super exciting guide. But then he tells us that all of the trees are dead, and so no more Kais are being born. And then that's interesting, because that's a big retcon there. And Bulma's all like, "Was that mean you guys are all going to eventually, like, die out, like, go extinct?" And Shin's like, "Yeah, that is the way it is." And Hibis is just dancing around like, "Wow, you're a Glenn. You seem pretty smart. You're like Degasu and Arinsu." And, that's where, Pansy doubles down again on, yeah, those are his siblings. And Hibis like, "You guys must have fought over snacks." But then he points out also that Shin is very nice and that those two aren't nice. And so, like I said, Hibis knows about them. He knows a lot. I think he's a bad guy, guys. It's a weird thing to me that he's just lollygagging when they're talking about all the Kaioshins dying, and he's happy, and he's got that third eye, man. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird. But that was a ton of lore right there. And, that makes it kind of cool. That makes it cool. But then they decide they're going to go ahead and get back on the plane and go, go face off with Tamagami 2. They actually tell Glorio they want him to pilot because he's familiar with this demon world. And Hibis had mentioned before that he'd never been there before. And he's cool. He's like, okay, yeah, he can pilot for us. And right as they're leaving, actually, they actually also make a comment that they're going to... Bulma asks if Shin wants to go see the Kaioshin homeworld just for, whatever. And he's like, "No, there ain't nothing there. I don't care. Nobody lives there no more. It's cooked." And then, like I said, as they get in the ship and they leave, Neva comes walking right up. And at first he comes around the corner. Then it shows a scene where he's like standing directly. Like, I don't know how they don't see him. He's like right there by the ship. But he just comes up laughing, doing his weird little thing, and that's how the episode ends. And that's, that's very interesting because a lot of people have theorized that Neva is actually a bigger deal, like a villain. And I'm on Hibis as the bad guy right now, not Neva. But I'm wondering if those are going to play into each other. Those two characters are what we're supposed to be watching. Hibis and Glorio are like main character good guys, but Glorio is clearly working with Arinsu, and like we really haven't seen the true motives of them yet. Like why she wants to become the demon world king or whatever, or the demon realm king or queen or whatever she wants to be. Like we don't actually see what the true intention of that is. And like I said, I think that Hibis and Neva, there's going to be a bigger deal with them. I don't think Neva's bad, but that's a popular theory. So we'll see what happens with it. But then we go to the next episode preview, and it's the episode is called Legend, and it flat out shows Vegeta and Tamagami 2 going at it. It shows Arinsu in a quick little frame, but then it's just, Tamagami 2 and Vegeta. So we are going to go there. So I was wrong that we were going to meet Tamagami 2 today. But I was right that, if we didn't meet him, we're for sure going to fight him in the next episode, and we are. That is how that's going to go. Like I said, this episode, the episode preview for it from last week, made you think like, well, what's this going to be? But I knew it was going to be good, man, and it was. Like I said, there was tons of lore. To me, they've buried Dragon Ball Super permanently now. Just using the character designs, like I said, with the Dragon Ball Kai and Bardock, that's just not enough to win it over. Now Vegeta also knows about the multiverse, and Rhymus is the big dog, not Zeno, apparently. And there was no mention of God of Destruction, so that, to me, that's like kind of a like shake Dragon Ball Super from your head for now. But it was a great episode. I'm geeked for next week's episode. I'm wondering if Vegeta's going to go ahead and defeat Tamagami 2, or if he's going to lose, actually, and Goku's going to do it, or if Hybus does it. You know, like, I just want to see something more with Hybus. But that's pretty much all I got for you. If you got anything to add, let me know. Thanks for watching.